Howdy, product people. I'm so excited to be here with you today talking about everyone's favorite subject, you, and how to develop your career like a product. Today, I will take you through a framework that should help guide you throughout your life to get wherever you want to go and have the impact that you want to have on the world. So, as we've heard here today, and I'm sure a multitude of times throughout your product management career, if we boil product management down into a nutshell, it would really be about these two questions. What does good look like? And how do you measure good? No matter what, these questions will always scale, whether you're working on a tiny feature or standing up a whole startup or managing a full portfolio of products. You will always need to articulate repeatedly the answers to these two questions. And you'll need to work backward from them. Now, careers are tricky. They are not linear, and they are very messy. We may get to a point where we think we know exactly where we're going, sort of like Forrest here, but we need to constantly check in on our working backwards plan and ensure that it still aligns with where you want to be at the end of your career. And that can change. I'll say when I first started, my biggest ambition was to have a 6-figure salary, which is really sad in hindsight because in tech, it's really not that hard to do that if you're willing to sacrifice, everything else about your life. Case in point, I've moved cross country, I think 6 times, because I was just always, pursuing the most interesting and impactful and meaningful growth work for me. And I thought that was more important than location. But yeah, so I also talk to a lot of PMs. I have 20 PMs reporting up to me in my role today. I volunteer a ton through product school and other organizations, and I run our women's leadership group at Twitch. Very frequently, I'm asked how to grow one's career. I always respond with those two questions. And more often than not, when I ask them, the people haven't given thought toward where they want to take their career and what they want to accomplish in their life, which is kind of funny because if you ask them the 10+ year plan for their product, they have it top of mind, spit it right out. So why not give the same treatment to our futures? And let's apply these same principles to our lives. So now, what can I say? What's a presentation without a little meaning, right? I'll talk you through the framework that I used and show how it took me from a Red Bull chugging, product shipping chaos monkey to a focused VP of product at Amazon's Twitch. Here's the framework we'll cover today. We'll talk about the purpose of each step, why it's important, and some ways in which you can get started accomplishing it. I hope you leave here empowered to own your success in life. So step 1, create a vision. What are you hoping to achieve in life? This is sort of the flip side to the normal, what problem are you trying to solve anyway, question that you always get in product management. I find that it is more helpful to be aspirational when you're talking about visions, obviously. So probably better to flip it. And for me, as I mentioned, I started out really small. I thought working backward from a measurement was success. But how wrong I was. It took me about 8 years into my career to realize that there is a better way to approach life and my career. So knowing what good looks like will guide your decisions in life and help you evaluate trade-offs and select the opportunities that build toward your cohesive future. There's a bunch of different ways you can go about creating this vision. You could lay out your resume, like write your future resume in 10 years. Check out, what companies you've worked at, was big companies, small companies, found a startup. Did you stay in product management or did you go the GM route? What did you stay within a certain industry or are you all over the place, right? And you can also conduct a pre-mortem. Now, a pre-mortem is a tool to envision different scenarios to reduce risks. It's basically you lay out the different paths you could take and you explore them and you see what resonates. Or you could lay out your values and work backward from them. At Amazon, we loosely call these tenets an opinionated assertion of what good looks like for a given vision. So I ultimately chose to work backward from values. What I hope to achieve now is giving back to our country and making all the necessary services work for the American people. So one day I envision myself transforming how government delivers services to the United States today. I come from a government family, what can I say? All right, step 2, establish your board of directors. So we don't build products alone. We work with user researchers, we work with developers, we work with go-to-market, etc. This is all done with a team. Your career actually is also a team sport. It can help you find new opportunities and give you tools to help you think through the current challenges on your path. So how do we do this? Look for mentors, coaches, guides, circles, right? Like they're Facebook groups. There's a ton of content out there where you can find people that resonate with you. One tip that I give to my team is look around your current organization and find the you of 5 years, like who you want to be in 5 years. Talk to them, see if they'll be your mentor, see if they'll work with you, or just even observe them. Think about what are the things that you like about how they conduct business and that you want to adopt for yourself. And of course, everyone's favorite, network. Step 3, so write your press release. So what does good look like in each role? So before you start a new role, you do a bit of a retrospective, and then you think about how you're going to apply all your strengths toward your next role. And you think about what you're going to accomplish and how you're going to stretch and grow yourself. So this allows you to reflect on your journey as well as map out the different legs. So at Amazon, we have a common mechanic called a PRFAQ, or a PRFAQ in this case. You can also just write your retirement speech. What do you want to be telling your friends and family and the public, the general public? What do you want printed about you in the newspaper at the end of your career? And of course, you can just generally run a retrospective, start, stop, continue, just thinking through all the ways you are mapping well, and all the things you need to do and you need to start making progress on. And then, mapping out your milestones. So what critical beats must you hit in order to accomplish the most important goals? So this will help illustrate and pace what you need. And so here you just basically, like I personally just lay out a timeline for a couple years out, I think 5 years out. And it obviously gets vaguer as you go. But it's sort of like, what are the key beats that I need to hit? And what can I be doing? What are the sort of levers that I have in order to hit those at the right times? It also just generally makes you aware of critical decision points. So you don't find yourself, nearing the end of your career thinking like, oh man, I really wanted to be a CEO. And yet, you've never had any sort of people management. You've never had any startup founding experience, you're just lacking sort of like the tools and the experiences that one must need in order to make it to that goal. And last but not least, measuring your success. So this is actually super tricky. It's a good exercise to help you understand if you're on the right track. There's a few ways you could do this, like, maybe if you're early in your career, maybe there's salary or location sort of success measures that might bleed into the rest of sort of what you want to achieve in life. Maybe there's certain milestones you want to hit by certain ages. So you can do that. I don't love them. Or you can think about, like how many products, how impactful your product is, how big your team is or the team that you're managing is, the scope of your work broadly, or, are you managing the most business critical metrics? So you could do that too. But to be honest, I just really like to think in terms of people and how you've impacted them. How have you helped bring up the people around you? How have you helped grow your team or your teammates? How have you, changed the lives of your customers through the products that you've shipped? So you can sort of pick your path, but I like that last one best. So to sum up, write your vision. For me, again, my vision, what I hope to achieve, is to help the US government deliver better services to our country's most vulnerable people. That's broad, and there's a lot of pathways to that. My board of directors are largely other women in leadership that I've met throughout my career, and really inspiring customer obsessed folks around me that I've just identified and felt like they had an indelible impact on me. Being an extrovert comes in really handy here because, I just sort of make sure to reach out to them and make sure to let them know that I'm impressed by them and I'd love to learn from them. And it tends to work out. People really like to help people. My press release, sort of the outcome and strategy based on vision. Currently, I'm keen to work across big tech companies and learn how they manage software and security and reliability and scalability and all that stuff, so that once I do go back to the US federal government, I will have the sharpest skills that I can help apply. So it's really amazing to see how some of these companies solve huge problems at scale. And then my measure of success is helping to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people with the greatest need. Last but not least, wash, rinse, repeat. So every December, I feel a little bit nerdy, but every December, I review my 6-pager, which includes aspects of my whole life. It's not just career. It's basically all the aspects. And I update it as needed. And then I see how I'm pacing, how things might have changed, how, my goals might have changed, my vision might have clarified, and I go from there. So yeah, and that is how I went from my tiny cubicle to starring in Government Matters and being a VP of product at Amazon's Twitch. The pinnacle of success. I hope this framework will help guide you throughout your life to get you wherever you do want to go and have the impact that you want to have on the world. Thank you all so much for listening to my talk and learning from my journey. I want to say a huge thank you to Product School for hosting me. And don't forget to catch me in the Q&A area shortly. And I can't wait to see you all there. Thank you.